Lord Galaban Broadcast Studios. This is the Quakey Nation AMA with Jay+Connects and Mr. Apollo, the creator of the Quakey NFT coins. So we're going to talk to Apollo first while Jay's busy getting all of his stuff done. And Apollo, one of the first questions that I have is how long have you actually known the people that actually created Quakey and this entire ecosystem?
Yeah. Well, firstly, this thing I really, appreciate. I really appreciate you having me on, on today and everything. And yeah, it's pretty awesome. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So Stu and Gio, I met them back in 2021. That was the first space I ever entered. And yeah, they've been, a huge supporter of me. I got to meet them IRL. They got to see, some of the projects that I was working on, especially the Metabus. Um, and yeah, so yeah, it's really awesome to meet some real people out here, because you don't really find too many of them out there. So um, yeah, I never turned back. I've always been, part of everything, that they got going on. And yeah, I love these guys. They're awesome. They really are genuine people. So yeah, like I said, you don't really find too many genuine people out there anymore, and it's really awesome to find some people who you can vibe with and be able to be real with.
So you said that it's been since 2021, and you mentioned something about a metabus. That's the first I've ever heard of that. What is the metabus?
Ooh, the Metabus it's basically an art studio on wheels.
Hmm.
It's a digital art studio. What I did was I had an art studio in Meriden, Connecticut, and due to COVID, it shut it down. So I just decided I was gonna, purchase a school bus, and all the equipment that I had inside, my studio, I'll put inside the bus, which is just a bunch of computers, digital pen displays. I created a platform called the Digital Paint Night. So uh sipping paint, a bunch of people, drinking wine or drinking, having their drinks and everything, and have an artist kind of teach them how to paint
Oh
something on
wow.
canvas. I took that concept and I digitized it, and I basically used the software that mimics real paint to create the experience of you painting on real canvas. And then when you're done, you get it printed on a real canvas, so it looks like an actual painting. That ended up to be highly therapeutic, and started working with a lot of at-risk and troubled youth, working with cancer patients, cancer survivors, working with the healthcare system here. Um, and then I started doing, like after school classes, when I can, like I would post on Facebook, hey, I'm gonna be at this park. I have 7 spots, actually 6 spots. So and yeah, I would have parents just pull up to the park and have a session with the kids and everything. They love
Hmm.
how it's so interactive, and that's another and that I use that as a way to start talking about NFTs as well. But I've had the bus since like 2020. That's when I built it, and then I really started getting doing a bunch of stuff with it. Mostly in 2021.
So I would have to imagine that the bus is in and around New York City.
It is in Connecticut.
It's up in Connecticut. Okay.
Yeah,
So
I drove it.
with your
I drove it over to one of the
Oh,
events.
cool. So, with your background and everything that you do with the making of the NFT digitals, when did you first become intrigued with actually learning how to code and to do these different things, or has it been like a lifelong passion?
Um, Growing up in the 80s, and the 90s, my father is a very creative person. He had his own little, studio in the house, and he'd always be building something, designing something, some weird gadget, some model. He would actually design his own jets and planes
Hmm.
and actually build them, like build a model to actually test it to see if it'll actually work. Sometimes me and my brother think he works for the government, but it's I don't know. It's just he was very, very, very different, and he taught me everything that I knew. He basically called every piece of technology we have now. He called it back in the
Oh
80s.
wow.
Um, yeah, and he just kind of told me this is where art's gonna go. This is where all this stuff's gonna go. So I basically just throughout my life just work towards being, more innovative and more innovative and more innovative and think outside the box and problem solve and figure out ways to make something work that technically people would think wouldn't work. And yeah, so he had a robot in the basement, a female robot, like a legit 6 foot female robot in the basement, back in like 1983, 1984. And she did move around, couldn't walk. She was on a platform, but she could move around. Like I'm telling you, these are things that, that sparked my creativity. I love building robots and I love building, the things that I do. And then that trickled down to NFTs, and I figured out like, oh my gosh, I know how to use Blender. I can create 3D characters. I can create 3D animations and images and turn those into NFTs and use those. That was the original plan, was to use the sales from my NFTs so that it'll pay for the bus for these students, so I don't have to charge them a dime to do it.
Nice.
So I just wanted to use my NFTs to basically power that side of my business. And but yeah, it didn't work out the way, I thought it was going to work out. It's still the plan, but it's going to take a little longer than I thought.
Yeah.
And the bus ended up dying, so I have it, I have it right here on my property. I just slowly trying to figure out if I can, wake it back up.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was something that it was pretty dope. But going back into the NFTs, from there I just started, to create and put my art out there for the first time, doing, um 3D work and showing people, because most of the stuff I kept to myself. And then that's when I met, Stu and Geo, and then it trickled down to going to the spaces and meeting in real life. And then Stu one day, actually Geo told me about what Black Quake was doing, and then told me about Quakey.
Mhm.
And then Stu came up to me and was like, come on, we need, come join us and help us out and make this happen, and yeah, I was, oh yeah, of course, anything that's doing and you are doing anything that I'm down. I'm down. I would love to be part of what they got going on.
Right.
Um, because like I said, these are people that really care about people, like for
Yeah.
real. So yeah, so I'm gonna, this is my family, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, that's about it. That's how I got into all this.
So your profile shows that you joined X, which was actually Twitter, back in March of 2021. Was that the first time that you really got into the web and onto social platforms, or did you have other platforms in which you were on?
I've had other Twitter profiles. It's just I never really liked how Twitter worked when Twitter was Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
I just did not understand it. I was like, okay, I'm on social media. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I have a YouTube channel. I have a social media presence. So, but I'm not gonna mess with Twitter. And then when I learned about NFTs back in January of 2021, that's when I started, researching and doing more research. And I'm like, wait, all these NFT people are all mostly on Twitter. Well, let me hop on Twitter and see what's going on with that. Because I was just intrigued by how artists are making money through crypto just through their art. I was like, this is my lane. I would love to do this. This is exactly what I've been looking for. But yeah, yeah, it's been a ride, man.
Where do you think that the NFTs are going to be in, maybe say a year, 5 years, 10 years down the road? Where do you see all of the technology going?
Definitely for sure. More and more people are gonna, start to realize that, being able to create art and create them into NFTs is good. But where the technology is going, what I see, mass adoption of augmented reality. A lot of companies are already playing with it. I mess with it a lot. We have AR wear with Quakey, that Geo's been working on, which is, I love Geo's work. But yeah, it's gonna go into AR glasses, more advanced, where you would be able to as an augmented reality clothing, like a shirt, like a Quakey shirt, and while you're wearing the glasses, instead of viewing that augmented reality through your phone, you're going to be able to see it through your glasses. I mean, we already have that tech,
Hmm.
and with even with Meta, they're advancing it, to where I think where things are going to start moving. In NFTs, people, I think people gonna it's going to get into digital, like what people are already starting to do now is turn their NFTs into physical objects. Now you can start tying a physical object to an NFT. We're doing it. We're starting to do it now. I think there's going to be more of that happening. People are already starting playing with the idea of minting your house and turning your house, your property, then the deed of the property into an NFT. Put that into on the blockchain. They're already playing with that idea. So I see a lot of that tech going in that direction. A lot of people are going into the metaverse as different characters. Well, now with the AR glasses, you can actually be that character in AR. So when someone walks up to you, you are the character, the augmented reality character. Um, it's gonna get as people start realizing how beneficial augmented reality will be for your own business. Um, that's where this tech is going to go. And then once people, companies, and start realizing that, oh my gosh, well, I have this augmented reality, now we can sell an NFT that's a drink or something like that, and the bottle has the augment or the glass has the augmented reality part of it. It's a whole bunch. I'm telling you, man, it's going to be insane when people start realizing the things that you can do for your own business. And this is stuff that I'm telling my own
Yeah.
clients. So when I have a new client, this is exactly what I tell them. Like, this is where the tech's going. So hop on board, or you're going to be left behind. Like, for real, it's advancing so quickly.
And knowing that Jay and you both have younger kids, do you think that the work that you're doing now with the NFTs, learning how to do all of this, building a robot, do you think that the younger generation will actually leaps and bounds past what we are doing now, and that they are at the forefront of all of this technology, the same way that the boomers and then the generation X, we were the first ones into computers in the early 80s and the late 70s, because I got to watch the internet be actually started. Where do you think the internet will actually be once this generation in the 2020s get to be into their 15 to about 25 years of age? So we're looking at what, about 2040? What do you think it'll look like then?
Ooh, well, put it this way. Look how advanced AI has gotten in the past year. You know, And now think about what the kids are using now. The kids are using AI, and AI is going to be the new Google from now. Right now it's YouTube is Google. Like, you can use YouTube as Google.
Mm-hmm.
You can search for anything, any subject, whatever you want. With now you can do that with AI. And I think a lot of the kids are going to, there's things you can learn through AI. As a matter of fact, AI taught me how to code. AI taught me how to write. I'm actually working on a few things right now. AI is giving me a few ideas as to how I can advance what I'm doing now. So AI is going to be playing a huge part in the future of the internet. Especially with schooling, where that's things are going to be changing very fast. I see it. And I'm just looking at things that are happening in the schools now, looking at things that are happening with our young generation. A lot of these this young generation is starting to move away from these these videos that is basically brain rot. So what I see, and me being a father and seeing this happen with my own kids. My oldest son is getting into using tech into his fashion, and he's you got to see the stuff that he's making in fashion. I never thought he would do that in fashion. I have my younger son. He is working. He's actually in high school. Well, he's in a technical college for electrical engineering.
Oh wow.
You see, you got to see how our infrastructure is going to be advanced so much because of the demand of everything that we're doing, all the computing
Hmm.
power. We don't have an infrastructure that for what's about to happen. We do not have the infrastructure for
Yeah.
that. So you get my son's getting into this area where he's going to be set for life. If he's going to be an electrical engineer and he's wants to start, being part of this change and everything, he's going to be, doing well as well. I'm like, and the stuff that he can do with the wiring, it looks like art. I'm like, dude, this is amazing. This is awesome. You know, and you know, I see my stepson is starting to like he's learning, he's looking at the stuff that I'm working on. And he's asking me questions. He comes up with a little piece of art that he's doing. He comes up to me, and he shows me and everything. I'm like, oh wow, okay. Now I see my 3-year-old daughter getting into all this, and she wants me to teach her how to build a robot, and she's 3 years old. I'm like, our kids are so much more advanced now than we were when they were like when I was 3 years old. I was worried about my little my glowworm that I used to have. I was worried about Snuggles. Like I was at 3 years old, and right now my daughter knows how to use a phone just as good as like I'm blown away by all the advancements of all this stuff. I mean, it's also a double-edged sword too, because you got to be careful
Yeah.
with the stuff that the kids are going to start getting into. So you got to be careful about the stuff that they watch now. So it is a double-edged sword with the technology. But if us here now, the ones that are actually building this out for this generation, I think that we should do it in a responsible way and the right way where they would be able to thrive beyond what we're doing here now. So I'm teaching my daughter earlier and my all my kids. Just if they're interested in it, I'm gonna show you. I'm not gonna push it on them. It's up to them. I'm not gonna go and try to pressure them into it. I'm like, hey, look, this is what I'm doing. You want to check it out? And if they don't, they don't. It's fine by me. They can do whatever they want. But if very interested, I'm like, all right, are you sure? Because you're about to go down a rabbit hole, and I'll teach them everything I know. And that's all I want. I don't want to like the stuff that I do now. I want to pass it on. I want to be able to, I see where everything's going, and I want my kids to be able to be part of that. Um, but like I said, it's up to them. If they want to do it, they can do it.
Yeah, that is one nice thing about everything that we're doing now is if the world can continue to advance the way it is and that we don't encounter one of the Carrington level events, then we should be able to actually pass on knowledge better now as we go forward in the digital age. But barring an actual Carrington event, we should be okay. And man, there's a little bit behind Apollo official. Jay, are you back yet? So we've been talking to Apollo for about
I,
20 minutes. It's about time to ask
yeah,
you some questions, sir.
I'm definitely here. If you want to throw me the co-host,
Oh, yeah.
I'm available
Yeah, I
now.
can
Yeah,
definitely
for
do
sure.
that because you are one of the men of the hour. So, you know what? Let's go ahead and get you the co host to where you have that ability. So, Jay, following along with kind of what I asked Apollo, when did you first decide that you wanted to get onto basically social media? And what was the first things whenever you started thinking, "Wow, this is something that could really change things"? How long have you actually been in these social media spaces?
Um, social media as a whole. I mean, I've been social media since
Well,
the beginning, I guess, from like MySpace. We're doing
uh
it,
huh.
get real technical with it, but
Well,
straight out of college, I've
ah,
been social media since the beginning. I didn't think it would be what it is now. If we're going to be quite frank, I've been more of the IRL person.
mm-hmm.
I've been more the person that like coordinated events to go to and going on vacations or social gatherings. I've always been that person to bring people together to do things, right? Um, since I've stepped into the Web3 space, a lot of my friends are like just bored. Not to like toot my own horn, but no one's doing anything other than playing video
Hmm.
games. No one strives to go out and do things. But yeah, I would say that the social media thing, I've always enjoyed it, especially when it comes to Instagram and storytelling. I uh, I have a habit of creating stories online, and I use the gifs and the different graphics and all that. I love Instagram. I love TikTok, and I grown to love Twitter. I never loved Twitter. I love Discord. It was more personable for me. When my wife was pregnant and when I joined the space, I joined the space because I was looking for a way of making additional income, and NFTs and crypto just seemed like the way to go
Hmm.
at that time. This was like 2021 when I tapped into like Shiba Inu back then, and I made some good money back then. Once I tapped into NFTs though, rug after rug, it was just like a snowball effect of rugging. But every time there was a rug, I still got close with like the community, and then the founders were like, "Yo, you're a cool guy. Let's link up. Let me add you to the team. Maybe you can run our socials. We see what you do with your own socials. Maybe you can run ours." Now, I ended up being the guy that ran the socials as far as like the get their Instagrams. They love what I did with their TikToks. It was funny. It was cute. People would just go there just to see what I'm going to post next. In terms of like minting and sales, I mean, my background is sales, but I told them that, but they a lot of founders back then felt like they knew it all. So they didn't want to take any advice from someone that wasn't too knowledgeable. I get it, but once you're a people's person, you're always a people's person.
Yeah.
That can never really change. And those particular people were like devs trying to sell, and not everybody has the gift of gab. So I'll say that social media. I'm a fan. I'm a fan, and I'm addicted to X now. When I was on Discord for like 8
Hmm.
months, um, I turned on my camera, and that was the best feeling of all. So I got to talk to people across the world, people in the UK, people in like states I've never visited in, like Colorado, all over the world, and we just have like regular conversations. We found common ground. We have similar interests, and I was even on I was even on Discord playing Apex with some of my community members while my wife was pregnant, with the twins. And, I was using that time to like, get past time. She's sleeping and doing what she's doing. And I'm like, what am I gonna do here for 8 hours or 48 hours? I'm tired of watching TV. It's the same boring channel. Let me hop on Discord. Let me tap in with my community. Let me say, hey, what's up to the founders and team? And we turn the cameras on. We play video games together. I never really was in spaces, like I said, but once my kids were born, I was feeding them. I was giving them the bottle with a camera on, and then my community was like, "Oh yeah, we have kids too. Look at our kids." And now we're all, I'm not really showing off our kids, but we're all just coming together in a really cool way. So Discord definitely brought me closer. And then eventually they were like, "Yo, you got to tap into Twitter." I'm like, eh, and now I'm addicted to Twitter. And now I'm addicted to Twitter. But yeah, so that's where I'm at with social media.
So you actually brought up MySpaces. That actually gives me a little bit of a hint as to how long that you've been on it, and it kind of gives away our ages just a little bit. Um, was there ever a thought, being the type of person that you are, where you love to speak and to really reach out to the different communities, was there ever any thoughts that we would actually have video conferencing with the way that we have now? And can you see that developing into something even more, possibly like into the holographic field, with the way that some of the companies have nowadays, and that meetings will actually be held by possibly holographic
Yeah.
images?
Yes, 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 and yes. Because I have a I love sci-fi, so I'm tapped into like Star Wars and like those kind
Yeah.
of movies and shows and stuff like that. So I've always known it was going to happen at some point, you know. And I knew that technology would take us there eventually. The Jetsons, because things have just been coming along. Every time something's about to evolve, there's usually a show or movie about it first, and then it comes out like down the line. So I always knew that this would be a thing. In fact, when I tapped into NFTs, I was focused on the metaverse more so than anything else. I was focusing on the gaming side, believe it or not. But everything that people told us would happen with the metaverse and the NFTs and none of it came to fruition. It was a bunch of like pipe dreams basically. They said that, you know, we would sit in like a nice virtual world, the team would be able to see each other every day, and then we get paid in crypto, and you know the project would sell out at 10,000 NFTs. Like these are all the all the things that I really, you know, was sold into
Yeah.
and I believed in, and it wasn't we weren't there yet. And people realized real quick that, you know, it would take a lot of time and a lot of money to even get there. So I do think it's going to happen. I do see what's happening with augmented reality, what Geo's doing. Fantastic job with the merch. He showed me the other day a video of the Quakey song with Cristiano and McFly. He scanned the shirt and it started to play the
Oh,
music.
wow.
I mean, that that's some next level stuff. You know, we have a video somewhere. I'll pull it up
Hmm.
for you, where all the shirts going forward are going to have augmented reality on them. Where
Interesting.
when you scan it, after maybe scanning a QR code, you can demonstrate um, the actual song being played or even a music video. So if you're an artist out there, big shout out to Nessie in the room, Rob Bully, I see you as well. But imagine being able to like scan your merch, and then your merch comes to life, and people can listen to your music by just by scanning it. Like that's great. That's phenomenal. That has a use case. It's not just about the merch and marketing, but more so how you can use this type of technology to your advantage. So um, I'm bullish. I'm bullish, and this month we're actually tapping in more into the metaverse. We're getting back into Nifty Island and Quakey World. Big shout out to Apollo who made Quakey World. We took a break from the gaming side of things, but we're going to tap back into it heavily. Um, there's a site called Hyperfy that Bio
Hmm.
uses. And why this is important is because with Nifty Island, you have to have a laptop to use it. And some of our community members don't have laptops, maybe not have the best Wi-Fi connection or service connection based off where they live, but or region wherever you. But on Hyperfy, you can use 3G network. And here in the States, I'm pretty sure 3G doesn't even exist anywhere.
Yeah,
But
we're at
in certain parts of
5G
of the
basically.
world, right, we're 5G, exactly, 5G now, or 4G LTE. But different parts of the world, you could use 3G or not even Wi-Fi at all. I think he was saying like seven gigs or something like that. You can use little to no Wi-Fi at all or
Yeah.
service, and you can use Hyperfi. So we can take our 3D avatars, our Quakey Coin NFT avatars, and we can go to Hyperfi and we can go live there. That means everyone that hasn't been able to participate in anything Decentraland or NFT Island or Spatial, now they don't have to even dream or wish they were there. They can just tap on the Hyperfile link and they can be there. We can start doing live shows, live spaces in the metaverse. And I could be on the phone right now in the space with you guys right here, and I don't even do it on my laptop.
Yeah.
I can just tap the link that VSEV has, and I can see so much and do so much in there. They got cars in there. They got a whole stadium set up. So yeah, we're gonna tap more into that side of things. Tonight we're gonna do the Nifty Island gaming. I want to do the versus birds versus birds. So that's gonna be pigeons versus ducks, or the apes versus the ducks or the birds. I want to definitely tap into like other blockchains and other creatures that are out here and really mix it up. I always finding things that people like to do together organically anyways, like video games is the best way to really market each other. So I was just in the one of the ape chain
Yep.
spaces, as I think you
Yeah.
noticed, with Skid City and music and Al One and Space Kitty. Phenomenal space. And yeah, we got some things cooking in the back end. So definitely want to stay connected with that stuff.
And Jay being Jay takes it from talking about Jay to talking all about Quakey. But let's get back onto you, Jay. So when you first got in, because it says that you joined in February of 2021, which is a month before Apollo joined in, and you were on the MySpaces. What other ones were you on and actually talking on in between MySpaces and February of the 2021?
I don't even remember why I joined Twitter in 2021. To be honest with you, I can't even remember even joining Twitter at all. Um, but I was heavily and still on Instagram.
Mm.
Like I said, I would do the lives. In fact, I have a lot of podcasts on YouTube. Before I became a
Mm-hmm.
podcaster, I have a bunch of podcasts where I have a show that was called Guts to Gains.
Hmm.
It was a weight loss show. So we had these Instagram channels for that. We had the YouTube channel for that, and it would just be people that we know, and even some people that we didn't know on Facebook that would see us, going through all these different trials and competitions that we do. We'd weigh each other and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So I was heavily into YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Was it on Snap? No, it wasn't really on Snap. So yeah, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. I even have a gaming channel on there, Twitch. So
Yeah.
I've been on those platforms doing different types of channels and podcasting for a while, but for fun, like strictly for fun. Even my Jay+Connects podcast is for fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I can
yeah.
understand that because back in 2015 is actually whenever I got onto YouTube, and I was doing World of Tank broadcasts. That's a like a war game, and I did that for like 4 or 5 months, and that was how I got my actual first start because I was just coming out of my shell and I was finding my voice. So yeah, I can definitely understand getting onto YouTube and having a podcast like that. With your kids being as young as they are, I asked Apollo this as well. Do you feel that your kids will have a more in-depth understanding of the way that the web works as they grow?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, my son Lance, he's more into the digital devices.
Mm-hmm.
My friend Lucas is into just watching TV and dinosaurs, but nonetheless, both of them are pretty engaged with technology. And since they were born, I was on
Mm.
Spaces, and they overheard the conversations. And so did some of my peers. Heard my kids crying in the background, or laughing or whatever. So they're so Web3. It's crazy. They're so tapped in. They don't have a choice. In fact, this particular collection, Quakey on the Rise, I wanted to involve my wife and my kids heavily. Which, if you look at it, the coloring book, the storytelling, the book that we're going to come out for the stories, I want my wife to help me create the story and also involve the community as a way to bring her into the circle. So, as much as I love the space, there's a whole other side that I don't talk about too much. Every now and then you may hear it on some of my spaces, but my wife, she wants me all to herself. She doesn't want to share me with anyone else. Um, um, and when I was doing what I was doing with the Guts to Games, with the gaming platforms, she was involved in all those things and she understood it.
Mm.
So it was okay, you know. But the Web3 thing, she just didn't get it. She never understood it. And when she was pregnant, she thought that my focus would solely just be on that, but I was focusing on getting money so I could really support. Because I'm thinking, from a father's standpoint, who I've never been a father before, first time father, um, I'm gonna have twins. What does that mean? That
Double the
means
work.
everything is times two. Right. Everything is times two. That means two Happy Meals, two beds. When they graduate, they're probably going to get two cars, maybe two houses I have to invest in. All these kinds of things I'm thinking about for the near future. He wasn't thinking about any of that.
Yeah.
Any of that stuff. So, you know, might have been some resentment there. I know some people in the space had, from father's standpoints, had problems, or even mother's standpoint. I mean, not mothers, but father's standpoints had some issues, like with occupying so much time out here. Uh, and she didn't marry. This is what she told me one time. She said she didn't marry Jay+Connects. She married Jay Money, and that's my nickname. That's like what people know me for. Like, whatever, unrelated to that. But she doesn't know who I am anymore. That was the whole talk track with that. And there might have been a time that I tried to stop. But anyone who knows me knows that when I try to stop something, like, perfect example, this week I tried to take a nap, and I never did take the nap. It took 7 days before I took the nap eventually.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's I'm going off on a tangent now, but that's pretty much what
Yeah, I
that's
can
that's the
definitely
point.
understand that because my wife now, we've been together for 9 years. Wow, yeah, 9 years, and she seems to think that I waste my time, but I've actually tried to explain to her multiple times that this is our bar. This is where we go to meet up with people that that we consider friends. And would she rather me be down at the bar drinking, shooting pool, and just being down there? And she's like, well, no, I don't want you down at the bar. And I'm like, well, then you have to allow me something just to connect with people. Yeah, but those are not real people. Well, yes, actually, you guys are real people to me. Granted, you might be only on the phone or on a video or like this. We are talking in a spaces, but this is our bar. Our grandfathers and our dads and our great grandfathers, they had to go out to like the Elks Club, to the Fraternal Order of Eagles, to any one of a number of things, and that's where they had their interactions. And this is ours, so I can definitely understand where trying to explain to a significant other that, yeah, this is what I do. Would you rather me do something else that's worse? So I can definitely understand that. And man, we are already 40 minutes into this AMA. We talked to Apollo for about 20 minutes. Jay, we just talked to you for about 20 minutes. And on a little tangent, I don't know if I'm the only person, but whenever I look at your picture now, just the smaller picture, I understand that it's a microphone with what appears to be ribbon because I'm looking at the bigger picture, but the smaller picture to me looks like a duck holding a phone. Am I the only one that sees that? Apollo, do you see that? Because I see a duck holding a phone.
I see it.
Okay, so it's
Oh,
not just me.
yeah,
Oh man,
That's crazy.
yeah. I mean,
I've
I've
had
been sitting here
I've
staring at it
had
going,
this.
he has a duck holding the phone. And then I had to look over. Oh my God, it's a microphone. Man. So there's a little
I've,
bit just, you know,
I've had this PFP way before Quakey.
yeah, but it
That's
just
funny.
it just looks like a duck holding a phone to me. You know, it's just the outline, but I understand that it's a microphone. So there's a little bit just about Apollo and Jay's background and a few questions that don't have nothing to do with Quakey. But now that we're 40 minutes into this, let's start talking about some Quakey. Apollo, I want to go to you first, and I'm going to bring up for everyone on YouTube just to see the Quakey coin NFT. Tell me what actually brought you to the uh, design. What were your thought processes whenever you were making this?
um, so So the design I was looking at, well, I was actually looking at the original like Quakey like logo that Stu had, and Stu had come up to me and asked me for. He's like, "Hey, can we, make like an official like image or something like that?"
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, we can do that." So that's kind of where that came from, was just me just kind of messing around a little bit here and there with the design. I wanted to make a cute little duck for the image. Um, but yeah, it was just something that I was just, I just wanted a cute little blue duck. And I wanted to kind of give it, the blue, the big eyes and everything. Um and then when Stu approached me and said that, hey, he wanted me to create like the first NFT project for Quakey, and we were talking about a coin, and I'm like, oh shoot, you know what? A coin. I can make the coin holder. I can make it look like it belongs in the
Mm-hmm.
metaverse. Since it's a crypto coin, add these like circuit board designs to it, and then and see what it looks like. I there's a bunch of different iterations of this that no one's ever seen. Maybe one day I might just show, put it up or whatever. But yeah, it's just creating that NFT was just to, what would a coin in a coin holder that's graded, like what would it look like if it was a crypto coin?
Mm-hmm.
So the barcode is that long barcode is basically a QR code that I just paste over and over and over and over and over again. The holographic sticker in the back, the numbered holographic sticker. So each one on the holographic sticker has a number of the one you minted. And then I just started kind of playing around, like, okay, well, are these all going to be the same, or am I going to throw in some rares in there? So I started kind of messing with the textures and messing with the colors, and then I said, you know what, I'm just going to create one with laser eyes, and it's the only one in there. And bro, I am so glad you got it. But I'm really happy for you that you're the one to get that one. But yeah, it's really, it was just me just messing around with a few different designs, some textures. I wanted it to spin so you could see the entire thing. And yeah, it just kind of became the NFT project. I put it on CrossMint, and there's about 20 left.
So, from the initial thought process to the actual design to the minting, about how long uh, uh, did it take you just to get from the initial thought process up to where you were actually minting that first one?
Um, wow. I was working on it on and off because I was working on it in between my clients.
Mm-hmm.
But like collectively, if you want to put it all together, I want to say from, the initial vector all the way down to the, actually getting it to mint, I want to say maybe a total of like a couple
Oh
weeks.
wow, that fast.
If I would, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like I said, it's in between clients, and to me, that's slow,
Mm-hmm.
to be honest. Like working on something like that, and each one had to be created individually. So each render, I had to render that coin 100
Mm-hmm.
times because they're all numbered, And I was like, man, I should have done it a different way. But no, I like how I did it. I think that it makes sense. So each render, I had to render it 100 times, and then once that was, if one thing was off, I would have to re-render the entire thing. So I've rendered this thing. Oh, I don't even want to say how many times I've rendered this thing. But yeah, from there, like I said, once it's already done, it's fairly easy just to set up, uh, like a Crossman account and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and to create the project. Um, but like I said, to me, it took a lot of time. It took like, because like I said, I was working in between clients, and then talking to Stu and talking to Gio and finding out which platform I'm gonna drop it on. And talking to Gio about, because I think Gio's the one that told me about CrossMint. Um, and yeah, it just, to me, it took a long time. But if I would take all the time I worked on it, it was about like 2 weeks.
Wow. I honestly thought it was
Yeah.
a lot longer than that. And I love the way
No, I worked fast.
that it's based off of like an actual graded numismatician coin, because I am a numismatician.
Yes.
I've been one ever since the early 70s, actually, whenever my grandfather got me
Oh
into it.
wow,
So, yeah, I can
that's
understand
dope.
what it looks like and how it's graded and stuff like that. And that's one of the things that actually caught my eye. So there's a little bit about the Quakey coin. Jay, I'm going to go to you next. Let's talk about the Quakey NFTs and how they began. What was the first iteration of actually thinking about just the Quakey NFTs? Go ahead and talk me through that.
Well, to be honest with you, the first NFT is Apollo's collection. That's the very first Quakey
Oh
NFT.
wow.
Yeah, yeah. Apollo probably should
So Apollo, you did the
tap back
Quakey on
into
the
that.
Rise?
No, 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 no.
Oh,
He did the Quakey Coin NFT,
okay.
but that is the very first
Oh,
NFT.
okay.
That's the first NFT.
Okay, well,
Yeah, yeah.
so
So
then the Quakey on the Rise is the second one. Okay,
correct,
well, let's go
correct.
ahead and talk about the second one then. Um,
Okay.
I know that there's 100 of them, and
Hmm.
there's only 8 listed, which I have up on the screen right now. And there's just not a whole lot that are being listed at all. There's been the same ones for quite a while. What was the initial thought process just to make it only a run of only 100? And are there plans for a volume 2 of the NFTs?
I'm glad you asked. So, so to be honest with you, um, the reason why this collection came about, the thought process behind it, was to help to market Quakey, the actual coin itself, the actual community. We are heavily in the NFT space. We're not. Most of us aren't necessarily meme coin
Mm-hmm.
people. But when the boom happened with Solana and all that last year, some of us adopted to it, some of us figured it out, and Quakey did what it did. To me, it looked as if Quakey Nation needed focus, and by focus, I mean if we're gonna be in the space of NFT communities, let's see if we can give them something that they can relate to, something that they would like, maybe utilities or what have you, and then tie it back into Quakey. So I actually offered up services with my partner Aquil, who did the art,
Mm-hmm.
to Stu Kwan to create a PFP collection or Quakey. But Stu Kwan already had the game out. He already had several games. Geo was working on the augmented reality for the merch. Apollo had just did his NFT collection with the metaverse, with the 3D avatars and everything else like that. And then big shout out to VSV, who's not in the room at the
Mm-hmm.
moment, but I remember tapping into Telegram and them telling us that there's AI art PFPs that we could look at that Jigsaw created,
Ah.
and we could use those as our PFPs on X. And Geo is still rocking his, as you can see there, and Stu had his as well. And I kind of wanted to have my own, but I didn't want it to be necessarily AI. I wanted it to be, the 2D art that you see with Quaking in the Rise. So I think VSV was like, I did choose one that I liked, but it wasn't a mint. It was just a random one I chose,
Mm-hmm.
which anyone could choose, right? You want to have your own NFT. You want to have something that's on the chain that no one else can get. You want to feel special. So I grabbed this one. I put it on as my PFP. I rarely changed my Jay+Connects, logo. So to change it, it was a big deal apparently for someone. And yeah, it's like it turned heads. Like, why'd you change your PFP? What is this, Duck? What is going on with this? Are you driving a collection? You have an NFT collection? I didn't know you had a collection. How come you didn't tell me about it? When's the whitelist? All these questions I was getting in my DMs just for changing my PFP to a duck, a blue
That's
duck.
funny.
And then it was like a light bulb went up in my head, and I was like, "Huh? Do people want me to drop a collection? Is that what they want?" I represent so many projects. I didn't think that was you know, uh, in the cards for me. I'd rather give a service, provide a service, than to do that. But I think by speaking to Stu Kwan about it more and more, he was like, "Jay, you should do this. I could be your co-founder. We could do this together." And I'm just like, okay. So what started off as a PFP collection with zero utility, it wasn't supposed to have any utility. It was just supposed to be art. That was the idea behind it. Just the art, just to give people something happy to look at and all that. And I was like, let's do a limited collection size because I didn't want to be tied to, a big
Mhm.
collection and have all these obligations that comes with having a big collection. Because again, I represent so many projects. So if I didn't represent all these different projects, and I had a bigger collection, that'd be something different. But yeah, I didn't want to tell someone that I'm going to represent their brand, and then you know I didn't fulfill on helping them sell their collection. So I made it a smaller collection for convenience, and also for the simple fact that it was for marketing purposes in my eyes.
Ah.
When I did yeah, for the 100. There's full transparency on that, right? Um, and as some of the art started to come out, I started to, I was still going to the Wake and Blake show. I would throw in the PFP, the Wolverine Quakey on the Rise PFP, and the community loved it. You know, big shout out to Blake, Get Hype, Digi Joints. He has so many names, but he saw it and he was like, "Yo, when can I get mine, bro? Like, let me get one of those." And it became a whole conversation about Quakey on the Rise, which it wasn't even called Quakey on the Rise at first. It was just Quakey NFC collection. It wasn't until Mose, Calloway, Stu Kwan, and myself got on a track together, and Mose came up with Quakey on the Rise song. And then I said that would be a dope ass name for the NFT collection.
Mhm.
So he was like, "Bro, do it, take it, use it." Okay, done. I added it to it, and I started talking about it a little bit more. And then Stu Kwan was like, "Hey, we could do this, we could do that," and I'm like, "Let's not do so much because we already got other things going on with the other collection, and we got the gaming, we got the augmented reality. Let's slow down on the utilities because, in all honesty, I think it's quite frank. To be quite frank with you, Apollo's collection has a lot of utility,
Yeah.
probably more so than music. Yeah, you know what I mean? I just know that at the time, Apollo didn't have the time to market it, right? But no, that's what we're here. That's what we're here, and that's what we're doing now. We're helping him sell the rest of his collection. So um, the collection, started to really amp up on the Wake and Blake show. So big shout out to Moon Queen and them. I let them wear some PFPs, and then everybody wanted to wear the PFPs. Everybody wanted to have to wear a duck. Cristiano was like, "Where's mine?" Love Louis was like, "Where's mine?" Everybody wanted to wear the PFPs before it dropped,
Mhm.
and then the conversation came up as if, could we use Quakey to mint the NFT? How do we pump the coin?
Yeah.
How do we find a way to get the coin involved with the collection that people are loving? Um, People didn't care that it was only 100 NFTs. A lot of people that minted it don't even know what the utility is. They just wanted it based off the art and that it was maybe limited. Some people forgot that they were get actual airdrop rewards as a utility. They forgot that to this day, not one person, maybe other than Beamer, has requested to utilize the podcast,
Mhm.
the Jay+Connects podcast. When you minted 6, you get to be on my
Oh wow.
podcast. So I think he minted like
Yeah.
11 because he's been asking to be on my podcast since last year. But I told him, like I told a lot of other people, there's a list of people that I told would be on my podcast, and he's like down the line. But now he's in front of the line because he minted. So anyone who minted, anyone who actually paid for the NFT has skipped all those people that were free. And he said he wants to be on the podcast. He has ideas, and anyone that knows me when it comes to my podcast knows that I market the individual and the project like a week in advance. So
Yeah.
basically, it's like 2 weeks of marketing. It's not just an interview. I'm going into the space to space. I'm talking about the podcast. I'm going into maybe a Discord. Maybe I'm going everywhere. I'm on all the social medias, all of my social medias, and I'm giving you what most don't give you when it comes to interviews because I also am a professional chiller,
Hmm.
I guess you can call it. So anyone would want me to interview them for that one purpose, even if the podcast itself isn't up to the standards of as other podcasts or my peers. Just from a marketing standpoint, that comes with it. So big shout out to Beamer Boy, who's also in the room as I'm talking about
Oh
him.
wow, starting to get a full room.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
right, right.
and you
Yeah.
actually mentioned just about the Quakey coin itself, and I've got it up on the screen right now for everyone out there in YouTube land. This is on the Sol blockchain. It is Quakey. We can always get you all of the information. It actually is in the description of the YouTube video, so you can go there. And tell us a little bit about the Quakey coin because it's been around for going on a year now, right?
Yeah, the 1 year anniversary is next month. June is when this coin started up. So, you know, Stu Kwan is here as well. He is the co-founder of the Blockquake Exchange. And to my knowledge, the story goes, because I wasn't necessarily here at the beginning, but how the story goes is people that are tapped into Blockwake
Hmm.
Exchange that know about this fantastic exchange coming out, and Quickie is backed by it. This developer came to Antonio and Stu and the gang and said, "Hey, we love to make a meme coin, and because the name is called Blockquake, I think we should call it Quakey." And Quakey kind of sounds like quack, like a duck. So that's how Quakey started. It
Ah.
started from the end part of Blockquake. Blockquake sounds like a duck, quack. So um, he tapped into it. He created the coin. It was a $1 billion market cap. You know, um, it shot up crazy. When it did. I remember hearing it from Geo actually, him telling me about this coin. And when Geo told me about the coin, it probably was back in April
Mm.
and of last year. And there's a lot that was happening last year. We had NFT NYC, we had the yacht. I got to meet Vita TV. We went to Daytona with Be Nice. There was a lot going on around that time in April. Like a lot of stuff. It's kind of fuzzy. But when you mentioned, Quakey coin, I'm like, oh, another meme coin. Great. That's fantastic. Another coin. I can't wait to see how this one goes. You know what I mean? I wasn't too thrilled about it. I wasn't. He's like, yeah, just hold a little bit. It's gonna go crazy. Antonio Stu Quan's part of it. I'm like, okay, cool, cool, cool. And I think he even threw me some a little bit, right? Um, and like again in June, it shot up crazy. Went to like maybe 700,000 market cap, something like that. And then it dropped dramatically. And I wasn't even paying attention to when it came out. Again, I was not even looking in that direction. I just heard it popped, and then I looked at my wallet after I heard it popped because I'm so late to the freaking crypto memes, and I'm like, damn, I should have freaking took my shit, my profit. I didn't even know it was popping yet, and it went dropped from 700 to like 50,000, like dramatic drop. Like, whoa, that's crazy. And then how the story goes, it's Stu Kwan, does he told his whole family and friends to invest in this coin. Didn't want to disappoint anyone. That's the kind of person that he is. He's a giver and he's really caring and all that good jazz. He decided that he was going to take a good portion of his own money and find a way to bring utility to a meme coin. The utility for the meme coin itself, Quakey, is that the coin gets 50% off the trading fees of Blockquake.
Mm.
So when the Blockquake exchange drops, which I can't wait for that to happen, when you're doing trades like just now, I just bought some Ethereum to swap to Ape Chain not too long ago. They're charging me like $2-3 like just to do that. I don't know if the fees went up for Coinbase, but it's ridiculous. I had to swap some Cardano just to get some ETH. But anyhow, by owning Quakey, you get half off when you have in your wallet. So that's something that Antonio, the founder, worked out with Stu and the whole gang or whatever when this first thing launched. So it did what it did, and I'm looking at the charts right now through your YouTube. If you guys aren't paying attention, tap into Doug's YouTube page And you guys can follow along what we're looking at. I'll throw it up on the jumbotron
Yep.
real quick. But the charts tell the story, man. It pumped, it did a little dip, and then it pumped up crazy,
Yeah.
and it did like crazy from that time. Uh, and yeah. So he made the games. He made these different games with Galaxy Hunters to give it utility, and the ad revenue once it's generated, he takes the ad revenue, he puts it back into the coin. So great idea. People are excited about it, and Stu, being the DJ that he is, and the event planner that he is, started hosting events all summer. Him and Biometa Vita TV were hosting these events. You had Cristiano, you had Mr. McFly performing in Queens and all these different events. Fantastic job, guys. And then they went to the bowl. They went to like the stock exchange. They were outside and they were interviewing people. You had Bronx Crypto there. You had Crypto God NYC, which is knowledge. I didn't get the phone call. Nobody called
Hmm.
Jay+Connects. I'm not gonna lie, I was feeling some type of way. I was watching the pictures and the videos. And I'm like, hey, wait a minute, wait a minute. I know these guys. What's happening here? Where's my call? Why am I not connected to this? So they were out there in the city. They were kissing babies and shaking hands and asking people on the street about crypto. And they're all wearing all their Quakey shirts with Antonio and onboarding people on the streets of Manhattan. So I watched all that stuff happening. I was like, whoa, I'm bullish. I'm bullish because seeing is believing, right? Seeing is believing. And they did this after it dumped, not before. So if it didn't do what it did, we wouldn't be where we're at and where we're going to be in the near future.
Wow.
If the coin just kept going up, there wouldn't be an opportunity for any of us to really, have a Quakey on the rise NFT collection from the ground up.
Hmm.
Have a Quakey coin NFT from the ground up. Have this duck race and all that. It wouldn't have aligned the way it aligned. Being the position that we are in as a core team, and even for Quakey Africa to happen, it wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have a reason to happen
Oh yeah.
because everybody, yeah. If it went past a million and more than that, there wouldn't be a reason for all these other communities to come together and to evolve. So everything happens for a reason. I do believe that. We wouldn't be able to come together the way we're having this AMA even now, Doug. There wouldn't be a need for
Yeah.
it because if you got in early enough, you made your bag. But then all the people that haven't gotten early enough that I've met in this space would even be in this space because you would have missed it. You're looking for the next meme coin. You know what I mean? So we're all in a good place right now to do what we can. And I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm not going to tell you to buy into the coin. Is not financial advice. I'm gonna say that a few more times because it's getting real out
Hmm.
here. I'm not worried about people buying the coin anymore. In fact, I haven't worried since I created the NFT collection because I know what's coming. This is not me just saying that just to get people to buy into the coin. This is another reason why we haven't been doing the game nights. We stopped doing the game nights for a while. You know, a way of onboarding people into the ecosystem. Um,
Apollo.
you get institutions and investors invest, and if you're in, you're in. So that's where we're at with the coin. Big shout out to Stu Kwan and Geo for always being the IRL connections that we all needed in these streets. And also, like Apollo said, like if Geo and Stu are involved, and these guys are men of their word, I've known them the
Hmm.
longest. I feel like, other than Stroke Driven that was in here earlier, if they're saying they're going to do something, they're going to do it. And if they can't do it now, it doesn't mean they won't do it later.
Man.
You know.
Well, Jay, we've been at this for an hour and 5 minutes. Do you want to let anybody come up onto the stage and ask any questions, or should we wrap this up? Because I seen that Apollo dropped down, so he must be busy doing something. But would you like to continue, or do you want to just wrap this up?
Uh, yeah, I think everyone in the room pretty much knows about
Yeah.
Quakey, but for I think everyone here. Yeah, up to you, boss. If they want to bring somebody up, they can. Um, you know, I'm excited for game night because we're gonna do game night in an hour
Mm-hmm.
at 6 p.m.
Oh
Actually,
well.
we're gonna be doing Nifty Island, and I'm gonna get some of my close friends. That actually have been talking about playing games with us, and they saw what we did a few months ago with our cameras on, with Lady Never Scared and who was there? Walt Diz, a big gamer in the space. There's a few people that want to be involved in that. You know, once somebody does it, like I was saying before earlier, when Crypto God and Vita TV was at the bowl
Mm-hmm.
and they're interviewing people, I got a little jealous. I'm not even gonna hold you. I was a little envious at that moment because I felt like I should have been there, especially because I was in New York at that time. But no biggie.
Well,
So when people, when we actually do the streaming for the game, there are going to be one people that they're going to want to be on camera, and I'm going to reach out to a few people in this next hour to see who wants to chop it up and play some games and win some.
yep. We.
Quakey Coin NFT giveaway. That's the giveaway for
Oh,
today.
there you go.
Actually, Apollo is going to be doing a
Oh, right
giveaway.
on.
Um, Even if you've minted a common, right, Apollo? Was that the giveaway? You have to remind me.
What's that? The giveaway is I'm giving away one of the rares.
Oh, damn.
Oh, oh wow!
Well,
So he's giving away a Quakey Coin NFT rare.
wow. So before we give that away, let's go ahead and open it up to a couple of questions. Let's go ahead and keep it short, guys, so that we can wrap this up at the bottom of the hour. So that gives us about 13 minutes just for the Q&A and for the giveaway. Gio, you have your hand up, and I know that you wanted just to come up earlier and
Yeah.
speak.
What's good? What's good, everybody? I just want to not ask a question because I know so much about Jay and Apollo. I just wanted to give these two gentlemen their flowers because I always told, even Stu, he could back me up on this. I always said, bro, if I could have my way, I would love to have Jay and Apollo be part of what we're doing because I believe with them and through them, we'll be more successful than without them. Growing up, look at this. So this is why I'm very grateful to have these two gentlemen who's done so much. And on top of that, fact is that these two gentlemen have journeys that led to really bad outcomes, and the fact is that that they know means to where those type of people never give up. So I just want to give my sorry, I want to give you both flowers, guys. I'm sorry, I'm with my boys they drive me crazy, but I just want to give you flowers for real because I couldn't be more grateful than to have you and Apollo not only working with us but also living right next to each other. For those who don't know, I will be there tomorrow. Bring my two sons. Can't wait to see Apollo and Jay, and I definitely can't wait to see Apollo what he created with the Meta Ape mask and everything he's done for the Quaker community, man. Because this is what it is, With each other, we're stronger than apart. Thank you, fellas. Really appreciate you.
Thank you, Gio. Beamer, you have a question or a comment? Because I know that you wanted to come up here on
You,
stage.
just I it's really really awesome when I get to like sit back and listen in. Today it's not a question. It's more so just to Jay and Apollo. I've sat back and I've watched everybody move for years now. And I know what it's like to be the most forgotten about, or to be pushed in a corner or boxed in, or to feel like you're not really cared for. And I've always been out here. I'm looking out for people in real life, and bringing people up, even at the cost of it maybe me maybe being a little bit of a pushover at times, or being taken advantage of, and not getting the outcome that I probably should have had for my own self. But that's what's called being selfless, and that's what Jay and Apollo and Stu Kwan and Geo and the Quakey team. That's what the Quakey team is about, and I've figured out how to maneuver out here, and how to look up to and become parts of what's really happening, and the people who are really givers, to be a part of a giving system. You know what I'm saying? One hand wash the other. We give and we receive. It's all about the ebb and flow. So I just want to say, good looking out, guys. Thank you. for everything that I've learned. I watch Jay closely because you know, people don't know, like, but Jay is a beast, and I like how Jay moves, and I've actually implemented a lot of the way I move into everything that I do, because of my boy Jay. And that's why I'm always on that everybody's hype man's favorite hype man's hype man, because that's my guy. That's one of probably within the top three favorite people out here that I know. Straight up, dude. And I just want you to know that, bro. Stu Kwan, another one. You know what I'm saying? Him and Geo, freaking Vita TV, freaking Bronx, y'all changed our lives, me and Stu. Y'all, like, you don't know what it's like to come in contact in a circle at an event that literally opens your eyes and like totally opens up Pandora's box so that you can see the new world of where you're actually here. You're like where you exist. And we exist in a new world, in an extravagant one, as far as technology goes in the future. So I just want to say thank you again, Doug. Fucking legend, bro.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for having this space, my boy. You know what I'm saying? You're a goddamn legend, bro. And you support like no other. You've been down with us, man, and you continuously show up and rock out with all of the community members out here, man. So big love. Jay, thank you for that message earlier. You fucking, you know, saved the day. I got up in there and got right, man. So blessings on blessings, man. Big shout out to you guys, man. You guys keep being who you are and doing what you do, because we see you out here, man.
Thank you, Beamer. And I hope that getting to ask a few questions about things that people might not have actually asked Apollo and Jay about, that maybe we learned a little bit more about both of these men today. And Stu, I know that you wanted just to come in here and to see how I hold my interviews and I talk to people. What did you think of this AMA, Stu? Stu's gonna blank me. Oh my God! Look at that.
Are you talking to DJ Big Stu?
Yeah, Stu Kwan. He's right there. I guess he must be away from his thing. Oh, there he
Yo,
is.
yo,
There he
yo.
is. Did you hear what I asked you
Now
there,
I'm over
Stu?
here. No, no. What,
Oh,
what you said? Come again?
I asked. I know that you wanted just to be in here just to see how I actually hold my actual AMAs and what all gets asked and everything. What did you think just about this AMA, sir?
Love it, man. It's this is what it's all about. You have to hold these AMAs so you can get to know the artist, know the process of how he does things, how he get things done. And big shout to everybody, man. Beamer boy or the fam over here. I was just tied up doing something that had her on mute.
Well, we got about 7 minutes left, so I want to ask Apollo and Jay, are there any final things that either one of you would like to say before we wrap this up and we get this giveaway done?
Sure. I'll say don't count us out. You know, a lot of us have been here for quite a while, and we're not going anywhere. And now that my family, meaning my wife, wants to get involved in this space, that's really securing what the future's going to bring for me still being here. So that being said, don't count us out. Stay connected always, and I'll see you for NFC NYC.
And Apollo.
Yeah, I have to, give my flowers out to Gio and Stu, because if it wasn't for these two guys, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. Definitely 100%, I wouldn't be. So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. All the things that have been happening. Over the past couple of years and everything, really in crypto and everything, and seeing Stu and Geo all the time doing what they're doing, and like Jay said, I said they're a man of their word. These guys really care about the people. It's all about the community and everything. So yeah, I can't wait for NFT NYC, and just to kind of piggyback off of what Jay said, yeah, my wife is starting to get into it too, man. So I told my wife yesterday that that um Jay's wife is starting, he's starting to involve her in there and everything. So
You use
she's,
my wife.
I was like, look, I said, look,
Yo, double
you got a
dates,
crypto
bro.
wife you can
Double
talk to,
dates. Let's go.
bro, for real, man, for real. I told my wife, I said, you got a crypto wife you can talk to. So yeah, yo, bro, like there are big things that are gonna be happening, So keep an eye on us, keep an eye on all the things, all the moves that we're making, and enter our spaces, be part of the community, and then let's really make a difference in this world.
So how do you want to do this giveaway? Should we do a wheel with the people that are in here right now? Take a snapshot? How do you want to do it?
Well, the giveaway was supposed to be for for the game
Oh,
in the
oh, okay,
in
okay,
like half an
okay.
hour, but
Never mind, never mind. It'll be for the game in a half an hour. So if you want to go ahead and rep that out, if there's anybody listening on YouTube that maybe wants to join in, where can they join in at, Jay?
yeah, just follow Apollo, follow the Quakey Coin NFT official account, Quakey on the Rise, myself, and then at 6 we'll create a space. We'll turn the cameras on. Vita TV will be there to help us stream it. But yeah, just follow everyone that you see up here on the panel, and also down below. And I also want to give a shout out to Glory down there. I got to meet her through a simple GM post, I believe. You just never know how far a GM could take you in these spaces. So truth be glory. Big shout out to you, Chili. I see you down there, Aaliyah. Much love to the ladies in the space. A lot of ladies are in the space right now. Slim, good to see you as well. Never scared. My co-host, we're about to go live. NT NYC Pigeon Coop. A lot of big plans coming up with that. So I want to give a lot of love to a lot of ladies first. Ladies first always, but remember that. Rock Bully, my guy. Good to see you in the building. Stroke driven. She's back in the States. Let's go. We got a lot of people. Beamer. Uh Kasim. I'll leave it like that. I'm gonna mention your name. Geo, Stu, Quakey on the rise. We just getting started, baby. Just getting started. Much love to everybody. And you know what? Me and Apollo, we bonded, off of the strength of Stu Kwan. And it wasn't until I moved out
Yep.
here and found out that he also lives like 20 minutes away. 20 minutes away from where I live. And we were both
Yes,
Aries. We
sir.
both are married. We both have kids. There's so many similarities, and we're both in Web3. You know how rare that is?
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
he's damn near in the same town as me.
Yeah,
And we're
exactly.
and
And bro, and
go ahead.
no, go ahead. Go ahead. No, I'll
I,
say,
I'm
bro, I just want to thank you for helping me push, the project and everything, man. Because bro, you're a real one, man, for real.
Same, brother. You've helped me on the back end as far as like the web page. I haven't had to worry about creating a web page for Quakey on the Rise. The dev is here. That's Quake. That's Apollo. He made the website. He added the Quakey on the Rise web page. You got people drooling on spaces like, yo, who's Apollo? How do I get my website to look like that? I'm like, are you part of Quakey? No? Okay. That's probably how you do it.
So what?
That's probably the first step.
So what you're saying is I need to pay Apollo just to make a website for everything that I do.
Yeah.
There you go. You know what?
Yeah, hit me.
Yeah.
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 Thank
Exactly what I'm saying. DM this guy.
thank you both. I could not do this without you guys saying yes, please. I actually want to do this, and it's just a testament to everything that both of you are actually doing with this Quakey Nation and going above and beyond doing things like this to where the people in your community can actually sit back, watch a little bit, learn a little bit about the behind the scenes. And I want to thank you both very very much for actually sitting down. And with that, you know what? We're going to wrap this up. I'm going to play us out with the commercial to where everyone can see the Quakey Nation commercial that I made for the entire Quakey Nation, and I'm going to close off the desktop audio and the microphone audio, and then we can shut this down, and I'm going to end out the broadcast with that commercial. So Apollo and Jay+Connects, thank you very much for this. This has been Lord Galaban for Lord Galaban Broadcast Studios, and I hope to see you all again for the next AMA that we do. And who knows? I don't know who that next person will be, but it might be somebody in this room. You never know. So stay tuned and make sure you hit the like button and the notification button, and please share out this AMA with anybody that you want that might want to learn about the Quakey Nation. With that, everyone, good night and goodbye. Hey, welcome to Lord Galaban Broadcast Studios. We're talking about Quakey today. This is the Quakey commercial. We're going to have to make this really quick because there's so much to go over. We will be having an AMA. You'll be able to see that here on the YouTube channel, and you'll be able to check it out. But this is Quakey Nation. So let's go ahead and take a quick look. This is the Quakey meme coin. We'll be looking at it on DexScreener here in just a little bit. We're going to run down through this really quick. You can get some Quakey wear on here. There's the NFT Quakey coin and then Quakey on the Rise. That is the actual NFT project. There was 100 of these minted, and they sold out rather quickly. I think about 3 hours. There is music. There's games. There's so many other things. So let's go ahead and tear down this real quick. Making crypto fun again is our goal. Welcome to Quakey Coin, built on Solana. We are an ambitious, community-led project designed to establish a stable ecosystem where Quakey coins drive a range of exciting initiatives. These include a dynamic gaming ecosystem, initiative augmented reality merchandise, exclusive NFT collections, and immersive metaverse engaging in real-world events, and soon-to-launch cryptocurrency exchange from New York City. So about Quakey, you'll be able to come over here to the website. I'll have all of these posted up in the description. Some of the little Quakeys. He's a little blue duck, quite the cutie. Tokenomics, 1 billion fixed tokens through the Phantom Wallet, 970 million token supply. Liquidity pool is locked. Contract is renounced. Contract address, we'll be taking a look at it over on DexScreener. How to buy Quakey? Pretty easy. Set up a Sol wallet, go over, grab the CA, go and buy some. Why choose Quakey? Well, you know what? There's a little bit. You can come over and watch the video, and you can get your Quakey wear here. We'll be talking about the Quakey coin NFT here in just a little bit, and all sorts of things. So this is the main Quakey page. We're going to pop on over to Quakey on the Rise. This web page is for the Quakey coin. You know what? I believe this is, oh, no. This is the one for the NFTs. So these are all sold out. There was 100, but you can still get some off of secondary market. So all of these founders, utilities, and everything sold out, everyone. So you'll have to grab it over on MagicEden. So let's go ahead on over to MagicEden. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 are still for sale. Gonna have to pay a little bit. It's gonna cost you 1 Sol or more. This one's a really cool one. It's Storm, and then you got a doctor, there's a cook that's for sale, there's Ant-Man, and it looks like a little schoolgirl, but this one right here, that king with the king's robes and the king's hat, that's a King Quakey right there. That's a nice one. As you can come down and see, there's some of them are based on movie characters. I see Dr. Doom and a few others, but here's where you can come over and grab them. That is on MagicEden. That being said, let's go on over to X real quick. We'll check it out. This is Quakey on the Rise. I'll have all of these links. This is x.com, Quakey on the Rise. It sold out in only 3 hours. You can join their community chat. They have chats from all around the world. And come over here to the Quakey Official. That is the community-driven coin on Solana, partnered with BlockQuake. That is going to be the exchange, revolutionizing the crypto space and integrating it with RWA. And I'm about to sneeze. Hopefully I won't sneeze here. Then there's the Quakey coin. This is an IRL coin. There's still 36 of these that can be minted. And it was a run of 100. It's going to come with an IRL coin. If you mint one, you can, if you mint one of the rares, you'll be able to get a custom-made avatar for Nifty Island. And there is an island set up for Quakey. That's really fun. So that's what's going on there, and there's still 26. We'll be talking with Apollo during that AMA, and just can't wait to talk with Jay+Connects or Apollo. Going to be a whole lot of fun. And let's see, we've looked at the pages. Let's go over here to the DexScreener. They were created 10 months and 12 days ago, so this is not a fly-by-night token, everyone. This is a solid token. And they're sitting at only a 72,000 market cap. They were all the way up to, what, 700K market cap within the first what we're looking at, about the first 2 weeks. and then it's kind of leveled off. It's been sitting right around 70,000. Well, about 180,000 down to what, 70,000? It's been really flat. There's only 477 holders in this, and this is a total ecosystem, everyone. So if you want a good token in which you can buy into with a solid backing, all sorts of IRL events that are going on, I advise you go and buy yourself a bag of Quakey. Not financial advice, do your own research, but you know what? I could think of a lot worse things where to put your money. These tokens that I have that are doing things and I talk about, you know what? They're pretty solid. I've done my research before I let everyone else come in and check these out. So that is the Quakey on the rise. This is Quakey Nation, and hopefully we'll see everybody during the AMA. And you know what? Come over and give these guys a shout out. Come over and see what they're doing. You can come over, join in to the community chat through the Quakey. That's the Quakey official on X. And give them a follow. Come over and check out what's going on. And with that being said, see y'all later. Goodbye.